Okay, so we're going to talk about some front end tests for your cold traffic advertorial funnel. Now, in the first video on split tests, or in one of the videos before this, I gave you a bunch of different types of split tests that you could run based on low leverage and high leverage. But in this video, I'm going to go more in depth and even show you a few examples of live split tests. So, yeah, there's a ton of things you can split test on the front end. And by front end, I mean like the ads, the actual advertorials, the actual sales page. Back end is like the email sequence, the upsells, the cross sells, the downsells, all that stuff. But we're going to talk about back end in a different video. So let's start with the Facebook ads, right? First thing you can split test, probably the most important and probably the highest leverage, is the hook, which is the first 3 seconds of your Facebook ad. Now, easiest way to do this is for every Facebook ad you launch, whether it's an in-feed VSL or like a 1 to 2 minute teaser video, for every single one, just have 3 hooks that you can split test. And I mean, you might have heard of this offer before. If you haven't, I would go do some research on it, but we can see what they're doing. Like they're doing exactly that. They're testing a bunch of different hooks. They're also testing accents, actors, voice actors. But yeah, it's pretty much the same script, just with different hooks. Okay, look, that's the first one, right? So it's always like 3 second hook, and then do this to clear out stock poop fast, right? That's like the script they're running with, but they just have a different hook. So you can tell these guys are running like so many different credit. I mean, if you just it just goes on forever, and I'm pretty sure they were doing like 15 million a month at one point, or they might even be doing more now. But yeah, that's an example of hooks, right? Now, let's talk about the advertorial page. So one of the first tests you can run on your advertorial page, which will have a huge impact on the click-through rate and everything, is going to be the image you run. Now, this is like a native advertorial, but probably the biggest split test alongside this headline would be this video right here, or this image right here. Changing this image would be one of the higher leverage split tests that this guy could run on his advertorial. Another thing could be the headline, right? So if we look at this advertorial, finally, relieve your foot pain for good with these revolutionary new miracle socks. They're probably running another advertorial, which is exactly the same, just with a different headline, which could be like how thousands of elderly Americans are relieving their foot pain in under 7 days wearing these weird socks or something like that, right? Just a split test on the headline. Um, Another pretty cool split test you can run for advertorials is if you're using Funnelish, you can set up the buy now button and have it like sticky, like this one. It just follows you down the page, right? So you can test having that here at all times at the top of the page versus not having a buy now button on the actual advertorial. And then, I mean, sales page, everything I just mentioned with the advertorial, you can pretty much run the same exact split test on the sales page. I mean, the same principles apply at least. Now, checkout page, there's a lot of stuff you can do with the checkout page. So if we look at this checkout page, I mean, pretty much everything here is customizable and split test. You can split test. So, for example, you can swap putting the payment method on the left and putting the bundles on the right, or you can have the bundles on top laid out like horizontally, or you can have them laid out vertically. You can test having a no timer here. You can change the copy here and test that. You can change the copy here and test that. You can test without the guarantee badge. You can test having testimonials on top rather than here. You can test not having these flashing arrows and just having a like static arrow. I mean, the split test options are pretty much endless with your checkout, and it's one of the most important parts of the funnel to continuously split test. So yeah, that's just a few examples of ways you can split test. And I mean, I've pretty much written out a bunch of stuff here that you can just play with and mess around with your own cold traffic funnel.